in our bedtime yoga, up their legs up the wall. So find a comfortable, clear wall, and I'm going to go get in position. I just wanted to get you started here. So if you haven't been able to get your legs up the wall before, the easiest way to do that is to sit with your side up against the wall, and then you're going to bring your hands back behind you, and then one leg goes up and then the other leg goes up. And if you didn't get close enough, you can scooch so your booty's up against the wall. And then we're going to be here for a few moments. Find your breath. If this is uncomfortable, if you're too close, move away a little bit. You can bring a blanket under the hips if you want to be up a little bit higher. But mostly what we want to do is surrender into this pose, letting the worries of the day sink down into the earth. Let go of working hard with the breath. If the hamstrings are a little tight, bring a little bend into the knees. Just take this time as time just for you as we get ready for a nice, calm, relaxing evening. And letting the body settle down so we can have a beautiful evening or a great night's sleep. You're welcome to stay in this pose as long as it's comfortable. You can pause the video and just stay here a bit, or if you'd like, we can make our way out of this pose. So the easiest thing to do is kind of bend the knees a little bit, bring the legs over to the side, and we're going to curl up onto the side. Before we get up anywhere, we're going to take a couple of breaths here on our side. And then you might have to scooch a little bit, and then coming up nice and slow. So let's take a moment here to have a little bit of breath work before we come into our next pose. So finding a comfortable position to sit in. It's not always comfortable for everybody to sit cross-legged on the floor. If you have a block, you can sit on a block or on a blanket. We also have bolster that's available. Whatever works for you at home. Even if you want to, you can get up into a chair. So we're going to practice a cooling breath. And that's when the body wants to go to sleep, letting it cool down a little bit. They recommend a hot bath and then get into bed. And that's so that the body can cool down to help it fall asleep. So we're going to practice our alternate nostril breathing. Or no, I'm sorry, we're going to do our Shitali, our straw breath. So there is a two options. If you can curl your tongue, we're going to curl the tongue. If you can't curl the tongue, that's okay. You're going to tuck the tip of the tongue behind the back teeth on the bottom. We're going to inhale through the tongue or past the tongue. And on the exhale, we're going to exhale out the nose. So inhale through the mouth. Exhale out through the nose. Inhale. And exhale out through the nose. So that's something you can practice on your own when you get a chance. Do some more of those anytime during the day, but tonight to cool us down a little bit. All right, our next pose, we're going to come into a supported child's pose. So if this is not your favorite pose, we're going to show you some options to come into for a child's pose. The first thing we're going to do, the bolster or the blankets? You can take the bolster. All right. The bolster, and I'm going to grab a couple of blankets. If you have a couple of pillows on your bed, you're welcome to use something like that. So the first thing I want to do is, you probably can't see all this black on black, but I have my toes together, my knees are wide, so I have room to bring a pile of something in here for resting on when I fold over. So depending on what you have and how many, you can stack these up. I think that looks good. And then we're just going to walk the hands forward and come into our child's pose. So I have my head off the blankets. You can bring them forward to rest your head on it. I find it more comfortable not. But if you have any neck issues, we want to keep the neck protected. So you can rest your head on another pillow or a block or whatever feels the most comfortable. We're going to be here for a few moments. So get nice and get all the wiggles out. And we're going to release into not thinking about the breath, just letting go of the breath. Your arms can be out, they can be by your sides. Finding what's comfortable for your shoulders is important too. As we're in this position, if you find that your mind is wandering or that it's becoming too distracting, one of the tools that I like to use to keep that monkey mind from getting a little too chattery is to imagine that my thought, whatever I'm thinking, is a big puffy white cloud. And my whole mind is a great big blue open sky. So this thought comes in, and I go, oh, look, I'm having a thought. Put it on the cloud. I'm just going to watch it as that cloud floats across the sky and out of view. We'll take another couple of breaths here. Coming back into noticing the breath. This is a good position to take the inhale breath along the outside of the back body. And then on the exhale, we're going to pull that exhale breath up the front body and out through the nose. So inhale through the nose, send that breath all the way down the back body. Exhale, pulling the belly button in and sending that exhale out through the nose. And you can release that breath pattern, come back to regular breath. And then we're going to slowly make our way up to our tabletop. So if you were laying on something, we're going to move that off to the side. And we're going to come into a gentle cat and cow. We're going to go nice and slow. We're going to start with an exhale here. So we're going to exhale, lifting the shoulder blades up towards the ceiling, tuck the chin. And then we're going to reverse that curve and looking up towards the horizon, leading with the collarbones. Exhale, round back to your cat. Inhale, coming into our cow. A couple of times on your own. See if you can feel the curves coming back and forth into the spine. A couple more of those as necessary. And then when you're ready, we're going to come and sit into a seated position. All right, so we're going to come into our butterfly here. And if you like, which I do, especially in the evening or in the, whenever we want to do this kind of pose, it's always nice to have some props if we want to stay in this position for more than a breath or two. So I've got blocks. You can use blankets. And we're going to bring the soles of the feet together, and knees are out to the side. So I like to have something under the knees that takes the pressure off, twerking them around like that. So we're going to do our butterfly here. Now you can bring your feet in closer if that's comfortable, or further out if that feels better on your hips. So if you have tight hips coming in, you can bring your knees up. And we don't want to do that. We want them to relax. So we're going to bring the feet out a little bit further. So let's just take a breath or two here and notice what we're feeling. And then when you're ready, and it's entirely up to you how far you want to go into this, we're just going to fold a little bit forward. So we can bring the elbows onto the knees and bring the hands onto the feet. If they reach, they might not, and that's okay. So we're just going to find that comfortable, slight forward fold. You don't have to go very far. And just soften into your butterfly. Let's take a couple more breaths here. If you find that you're breathing heavier, then maybe you're going into your fold a little bit too far. Come up a little bit. And then when you're ready, you can use the hands to walk it back up. Use an inhale. And then we're going to bring the hands under the knees and bring the knees together. Move your blocks out of the way. And we're going to counterpose that with some windshield wipers. So I'm leaning back on my hands, my feet are in the mat, my knees are bent, and I'm just going to bring the knees side to side. And we'll do that a couple more times. I'm going to go a little sideways here. Excellent. All right, so if you're on a mat, come up towards the top of the mat. We're going to bring our hands onto the knees. We're going to roll onto our back. And from here, we're going to do a little apanasana, so wind relieving pose. We're going to exhale, knees come in, inhale, release. We're just going to do this a couple of times. Nice. All right. The next time that you bring your knees in, we're going to inhale and bring the feet up towards the ceiling and the arms come overhead. And then we're going to exhale, bring the knees, bend the knees, hands to knees. Each time we do this, when we inhale, the legs are going to come up. And we're going to bring the legs out a little bit wider each time. We're going to exhale, knees come in. Inhale, knees can come out a little bit wider. Exhale, bend the knees. Inhale, maybe a little bit wider. Just going as far as is comfortable for you. Exhale, bend the knees. Inhale, maybe start to come back in a little bit. Inhale, open. Exhale. Excellent. And then once you've made your way to legs back straight up, We're going to bend the knees again, hands come to the knees. Let's bring the feet down to the mat, and we're going to do, I'm going to hop off, but you're going to stay down. And we're going to grab our blankets or our bolster or a couple of pillows. We're going to do a supported twist. So generally, I like to go a specific direction first. You can use a bolster or if you want some blankets. So we're going to come and we're going to twist, bringing this right knee over towards the left. So we want our arms out to the side. You can keep that left leg coming out straight. We can put that right foot on that right foot on the left thigh and then roll over towards the side. So you want to keep this right shoulder on the floor. You're popping up, you're losing that gentle twist. So if that knee isn't coming down far enough, then prop some more up under it. You don't want to be straining anything. This is relaxing. Right hand can be palm down or palm up. It might be more comfortable. You can have a little bend in that elbow if that's more comfortable. And your head can be facing up towards the ceiling. You can look towards the left, or if it's okay with your neck, look over towards the right. So we'll be here for a few moments. If that's uncomfortable on your back and you probably twisted too far and you want to come back. So we'll take a few more breaths on this side before we transition to the other side. You want to gently bring your head back to center as we roll back onto the flat of the back. Bring both knees bent. You can switch which side you have your padding on. We're going to extend that left leg straight out. Right leg straight out, left foot on the right leg. Arms out to the side, and then we're going to roll over to bring that left knee towards the right side. So I'm going to get that nice and propped up securely. And again, depending on you, palm can be facing up or facing down. A little bend in the elbow if you need to, but we want to keep that shoulder on the left side from coming up. And again, whatever feels best for your neck, looking at the right, looking at the ceiling, or looking out over that left hand. Letting the body soften, relax into the floor. Take a couple more breaths here. When you're ready, begin by moving the head first back to center. We're going to slowly unwind, move back onto the back. Straighten out, and then let's bring the knees back to the chest. A couple of apanasanas here. Knees come in. Inhale, release away from the body. We're only moving a few inches here. And if it's more comfortable, of course, bring the knees out a little bit wider. A little bit more space behind the lower back and behind the neck. And then when you're ready, let's bring the feet down to the mat. We're going to do a couple of bridge poses. So we'll start with the feet in the mat. Heels are close up in towards the hips. Arms down by your side. You're going to inhale, lift the hips up. Arms come up overhead. On the exhale, bring the hips down. Arms come back down by your side. We're going super slow with this. Inhale. Just lifting up gently, nice and slow. Take time. Exhale. Same thing, nice and slow, coming down. Let's go one more time like this. Inhale, arms up, hips up. And then exhale, arms down, hips down. And then we're going to do one more round, and I like adding an extra breath in here. So we're going to inhale, lift the hips up, lift the arms up. We're going to leave the arms where they are. We're going to exhale and release just the hips down. This is one of my favorite ways to lengthen in around those shoulders. And then we're going to take another inhale. On the exhale, nice and slow, bring the arms back down by your sides. Do that 2 more times. Inhale, arms up, hips up. On the exhale, release just the hips down. Take another inhale. On the exhale, arms come back down by your sides. One more time. Inhale, arms up, hips up. Exhale, release just the hips. Take another inhale. Exhale, arms come down by your sides. All right, so that was a little bit of a back bend, so we're going to counterpose that. Just a couple of apanasanas. Exhale, knees come in. Inhale, release. Exhale, knees in. Inhale, release. Do as many as you feel like you need. And then we're going to come into our relaxation pose. So feet come down to the mat. And you've got a couple of options. Since we have a bolster or a pile of blankets or a pile of pillows or something, you can bring that underneath the knees if that feels comfortable, or you can be totally flat. But let's come into our most comfortable relaxation pose. And let's give the body a different kind of relaxation. We're going to relax all the joints. So starting at the top, first big joint is the jaw. Let the jaw release. That one's a tight one sometimes. And then we're going to release the space in between all of the vertebrae up and down the spine from the tailbone to the base of the skull. Release the shoulders. Release the elbows. Release the wrists. Release all the fingers and the thumbs. And let's move over to the hips. We're going to release that hip joint. Release the knees. Release the ankles. Relax and release all those little joints and all those little toes. Let go of breath. Let any last thoughts about the top of the crown of the head. Just take the next few moments and just be. You're welcome to stay in this position as long as you like, or turn off your electronics and go to sleep for the night if that's what your plan is. Otherwise, if you want to go about the rest of your day or your evening, we're going to come back gently into awareness. Wiggle toes and fingers. Roll your head side to side. If you have any equipment under your knees or legs, slide that out of the way. Going to, with an inhale, roll over onto one side or the other. Let's take a breath or two here. And then when you're ready with your inhale, push up with your upper arm. Come to a nice, comfortable seated position. And enjoy the rest of your evening or afternoon or day. Thank you. Namaste.